All right, here we go. Round two. I don't know what happened. I didn't realize it 3/4 of the way or almost all the way done with the live feed, and it wasn't recording. Something happened with the computer. It shut down. It didn't like my secrets and lies or secrets and silence conversation. Hey, Adam, how you doing? So I'm gonna go at it again. Hopefully the computer will be friendly and the devil will stay out of here, and I'll get through this all. So I hope you're all starting your day off, your week off on a good note. It's Monday morning, Monday almost noon now. And remember, if it's started off not so well, you can start it all over. It's your choice. And remember that nobody has the power to make you do anything or feel any way. It's all within yourself. Only you have that kind of power and God. Okay? So I'm going to start with a quote from chapter 9. We're on part 2, where does secret keeping start? And the quote that I have in there is that anything that's human is mentionable. Anything that's human is mentionable, and anything that is mentionable is more manageable. So anything that is within us, right, because we're human, is mentionable. In other words, we can talk about it. It's like it's worth talking about. And other people might put you down for what you want to talk about, but the reality is it's your truth, and your truth needs to be talked about. Hey, Tika. Um, and if we don't, if we keep it in ourselves as a secret, then it's very unmanageable because we're trying to manage our life around a secret, and that's just next to impossible to do. So when we start talking about our secrets, our life becomes more manageable. So anything that is human is mentionable. Anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. And then when we can talk about our feelings, they become less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. What's up, Alex? Um, so we have our feelings inside of us, and they're true. They're our feelings. They're our truth, and we hold on to some of these feelings for fear that we look weak. We shouldn't be feeling this way. You shouldn't feel that way. Well, those words are all garbage words. So when we can talk about our feelings with somebody that is wiser than us and that is there just with an ear, not try to fix you, if we can talk about them and somebody can just understand us and listen to us, then they become way less overwhelming, not nearly as upsetting, they're not scary no more because we brought them to the light. And once anything in the dark is brought to the light, it becomes way less scary. And the people that we trust with that important talk can help us know that we are not alone. Okay, and the key word is their trust. The people that we trust with that important talk. You just can't go to anybody and start talking about some deep rooted issues. Number one, that person might have their own unresolved, deep rooted issues that they're dealing with, and they could just spill toxic conversation onto you. What we need is we just need an ear to listen to us. We need our ear for our words to fall on, and we need somebody just to understand us. So the people we trust with that important talk can help us know that we are not alone. On the other hand, if they're untrustworthy people, it can destroy us. It can damage us and drive us deeper into our secrecy. So the whole quote is: anything that's human is mentionable. Anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. When we can talk about our feelings, they become less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. The people we trust with that important talk can help us know that we are not alone. And that comes from Mr. Rogers himself, Fred Rogers. Okay? So that was a quote that I started this um, chapter with. So where does secret keeping come from? Um, Believe it or not, I'm going to go deeper into this, and this part isn't in my book, but believe it or not, that our secret keeping, mom and dad, comes from us. We're teaching our kids how to keep secrets and tell lies. Well, how is that, Randy? So, hypothetically, I come home from work, I'm sitting down on the couch watching TV, I'm relaxing, maybe drinking a soda, or, maybe you're drinking a beer, whatever it is you do when you get home. And your son, he's sitting at the table doing his homework. You guys are just chilling, relaxing, and the doorbell rings. And your son, as kids love to do, he goes running towards the front door. And as he does, you yell at him, "Hey, Tommy, that's Bob from next door. Tell him I'm not home." "But Dad, you're right here." You go, "Tell him I'm not home. I don't want to see anybody today." All right. And it can be opposite with mom on a phone call, and the daughter runs to the phone, and mom says, "Hey, that's Mary from next door. Tell her I don't want to talk." "But Mom, you're right here. That's a lie. Just do as I say." So on one hand, we're teaching our kids that don't lie. And I know for me personally, I got a lot of soap shoved down my throat as a kid for supposedly lying. And honestly, I don't think I lied. I don't. I think I really don't believe I was that. I'm sure every kid lies, but when you have, cakes, I mean, soap caked on the back of your teeth, no child deserves that. So they're telling me not to lie, or my mother was telling me not to lie, but then on the same hand, we're teaching them how to lie. So we got to be really careful with our words. All right. So, those are just two real simple examples that happen on a daily basis in almost every household across America. So we got to be careful with our words and with our actions. I had two incidents besides that with my mother shoving cake down my throat and lying. My mother lied quite a bit. Is when we went to Indiana for a supposed family vacation, and Dad stayed at home because he had to work. Well, the reality is Dad stayed at home because he was moving out of the house. And we weren't told that until we got home. And then, "Oh, Dad's not coming home. Mom and Dad are getting divorced." "Well, why didn't you just tell me that before we went to Indiana?" So again, you're telling me not to lie, but you just told me one of the biggest lies of my life. And then when my father became ill in 1967, 1968, we were just told he was ill and that in a year or so he'd be better. Well, the reality is my dad was dying of cancer. They just didn't tell us. My stepfather even knew it. I mean, he groomed me for a whole year, and we'll talk about grooming next week, but he even knew it. So here I am thinking that I'm going along as a child, seeing my dad, he's sick, we can't get close to him, then we can't see him, then we can't see him, and just thinking that, well, he's going to get better, and we're going to continue on with our life. And the reality is, on January 12th, he died. So here I am again being told a lie to supposedly protect us from the reality of death, life and death. So a lot of times we do stuff as parents to supposedly protect our children, but how else are our children going to learn about life if we keep lying to them? The only thing they're learning is how to lie and keep secrets, right? So those are a couple of really easy ways that children learn how to lie, how to keep secrets, and how to stay quiet. Okay. The bottom line is that secret keeping, in many cases, it starts with a desire to protect our loved ones with our silence. We don't want to see anybody get in trouble. If it happens in sexual abuse a lot. I don't want to say nothing because then Dad will go to jail, and then where Dad's going to be. We were at Father's Heart Ranch probably 4 or 5 years ago, right before Christmas, and these kids were the worst of the worst of the worst abused. They were bad, and we were up there, celebrating Christmas with them, and we asked them a question, what do you really want for Christmas? And one kid said, "I want to be home with Mom and Dad." He wanted to be home with his mom and dad, the ones that abused him the worst. All right. "Randy, don't tell anybody. This is our little secret." "Okay, well, my dad just died. Do you think I wanted to lose another father?" It was our little secret. What's going to happen if I was to say anything? All right. So a lot of times we don't tell people about our abuse to protect the family name. The family name's already been destroyed. If you think you're the only one it's happened to in your family, in your family's history, you're so far off base. It's been happening. When I look back on my mother's side of the family, that secret and those silence and those lies have been happening for generations, a lot of generations back. And that's my generation is the one that is breaking. Hey, Sergio, my generation is the one that is breaking the generational curse. I'm not going to allow it to go any further in my family. And I already see how my children are with their wives and with their kids. They're phenomenal. I mean, they're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But they're even better than I was with them. Okay. What happens with the secrets too, it reinforces our false belief that we have something to be ashamed of. or something to hide from others. Shame is never belongs to us. It always belongs to the perpetrator. And perpetrator isn't just a sexual abuse. I want you to understand that emotional abuse is brutal. Physical abuse is brutal, right? Shame always belongs to those other people. But yet we have to hide it. So we're going around feeling like worthless pieces of garbage for a lot of our lives because we're holding on to shame that somebody passed down to us that doesn't belong to us. Where if we were able to speak about whatever happened to us at an early age, we wouldn't be carrying the shame around. I carried it around for, well, I got sober when I was 49 years. I carried around for 38 years, and then still, just probably in the last couple of years, most of the shame is finally gone. It does come up now and then, but I can get rid of it almost in a heartbeat. Hey, Kevin, how are you? Okay. We have nothing to be ashamed of. We didn't do anything wrong. If we were abused as children, we absolutely did nothing wrong. We were just being kids. Were we the perfect kids? No. But were our parents parenting us correctly? No. I got a lot of parents that don't like me because I just flat tell them, no, you're not. But it's not their fault because, again, they're just repeating what they were taught as kids, what their parents did to them and what their parents' treated them. What's up, Travis? How you doing, man? Okay. So it's generational curses. The shame belongs to the perpetrators. We're only harming ourselves by keeping the secrets. So it's important that you find a good mentor or coach that you can talk to about this stuff. That's not going to shame you. That's not going to tell you you should feel this way or you should do that or this or that. That can be there to listen to you and guide you with wisdom. That's been in your shoes. That not only has been in your shoes, but has also walked you out of those shoes into a new pair of shoes. That's taken your old diluted, fogged up sunglasses and help you over time because it doesn't happen overnight. Put on a pair of brand new crystal clear glasses that are looking at Christ and looking at life and the reality of life. Okay. What happens too for us is like, when we have this one big central secret of we use sexual abuse, right? Such as sexual abuse. And again, it could be any abuse. You weren't sexually abused, but you might have secrets because you're a man, because somebody beat you or whatever it is, that secret. We become so accustomed to the pain of hiding it that it becomes easier to keep secrets, other secrets, right? But remember that what's in the dark will be brought to the light. And so I kept that secret for years, right? And how many other secrets did I keep? Um, I this. I remember one. And I paid for this one dearly. Right. This is as I got older. My brother had this Camaro. He built it up, and we're going down La Paz Avenue and or one of those streets in Mission Viejo. And he looked at me. He goes, "Randy, have you ever done 100 miles an hour in a car before?" I go, "No." And we're going downhill. So he nails it to the floor, and we're doing 100 plus, and a car pulls out in front of him. And all I can remember is he pulled it off. He hit the curb. We kind of went sideways. I can remember I'm in the passenger seat. I'm going right at a big light pole. I'm going, oh, I'm dead. This is it. It's over with me. This time I ain't going to live. And somehow he pulled it off, and we pulled over. And the guy pulled over. It was an accident, but it was stupid. Anyways, he goes, Randy, please don't tell Jack about this, man. Just don't tell Jack. I says, all right, I won't say nothing to him then. He's going to find out sooner or later, and you're going to have to pay the piper yourself. Well, he found out all right. And guess who paid the piper? It wasn't my brother. It was me. It was bad. So secret keeping isn't worth it. It doesn't really matter what it is. People have to pay for the consequences for whatever behavior they have. We can't be afraid to get people in the trouble that they deserve to be in. Okay? Your truth is your truth, and nobody can ever take it from you. Ever. The more secrets that you keep, the more overwhelming they all become. And then what happens over time? You don't remember when you try to remember somebody asks you a question and you lie about that and you go, well, wait a minute. I talked to you about that a month ago and you gave me a different answer. Which one is it? Right? What happens also is they become magnetic. Secrets become magnetic. And that is what they do is they'll pull other secrets in and they become stronger with each new addition. So what we do is we can feel terminally unique as if no person in the world who has ever been this bad. And the reality is, look to your left, look to your right. Everybody's been that bad. Everybody's carrying secrets. We're not unique. None of us are unique. We're unique in God's eyes because he created us uniquely for a purpose. But this behavior that we've learned over the years of living here on this earth, you're not alone. And it can be changed really easy. Because what we do is when we get that unique feeling, we feel that no one could possibly understand. They can understand how all alone we are. Or we feel that people would revile us if they knew our secrets. So for me, if people could see behind this veil, the facade that I so masterfully constructed in my life, they would see the real Randy and they would want nothing to do with me. But what was happening was that facade, I was pushing people away because I've become such a jerk because of the power I thought I had. And the reality is I didn't have power to control myself, so how could I have power to control anybody else? And you got the shame. You got this toxic shame, the feeling that you are bad or wrong, thrives in the darkness of secrecy. So remember that guilt is I did something wrong, right? Guilt is I did something wrong. We're all guilty of something. But I want you to understand that shame does not belong to you. It always belongs to the perpetrator of abuse or the perpetrator of the crime. It hurt people. Okay? Hurt people. The shame doesn't belong to you. It gets handed down to us. And what happens is we keep it in the darkness because we don't want people to know what happened to us, especially men and women too. But remember, I'm the men's advocate here. They would think I was weak. They might think I'm gay. Or if I'm gay, they'll think I deserved it. I mean, I could go on and on with a list of thinking that we have. But what happens is that shame just feeds on the darkness of secrecy. It just gobbles it up. And I'm convinced that alcoholics, one of the biggest reasons for relapse is in recovery. Let's get away from alcoholics. In recovery, the biggest relapse, and recovery is anything. I'm not talking about alcoholic here. Alcohol, whatever it is, okay? People relapse on their drug of choice, whatever that is, because of shame, because they haven't worked through all their triggers. And so when they're in society and something triggers them, it triggers that shame. And I felt it, and it's brutal. When you don't have drugs or alcohol to cover the shame that comes up, it is nasty and it is hard to deal with. And so instead of using what little tools they have, and it might just be, I'm going to call my sponsor or my mentor, they go to their default because they want instant relief, which only alcohol or drugs or gambling or sex will do for them. That's what they turn to. So the shame drove them to pick up the drink or the pipe again, or the gambling or the sex, whatever it is. Drove them to do that, instant relief. Then when they come out of that fog, there's more shame that's on top, piled on top of the shame they originally used for. Why didn't I call my mentor? I should have done this. The should start coming in. So then they drink again. And then more shame, and then more drink, and more shame. And then pretty soon they're so far back in their addiction, they can't see the light of the day. Shame is a killer, okay? Over time, my secret keeping kept on expanding. It went from I can conceal my abuse, which I was masterful at, unless I wanted attention. Then I went to concealing my drinking and drug use, which was only concealed in the privacy times that I did it. Kathy and I, we drank together. I mean, a lot like a lot of adults do, but there was a lot of times that she didn't know I was drinking and using. Okay, and then it went from there to the ultimate of concealing my extramarital affair. So if you don't catch timing, if you don't catch secret keeping of time, it can turn fatal to you, to your relationship. Okay, there's nothing that you've gone through, nothing you've experienced, nothing that you cannot overcome if you have the right mentor or coach in your life. I guarantee it. I've seen it. Kathy and I have helped countless people. Okay. What happened with me, right, is that over time, my shame monster that spent most of the time in darkness, it just kept on growing and growing and growing. Because remember, shame feeds on shame, and it feeds on secrecy, right? And it nearly destroyed me completely. Everything about me. I'm convinced that if I would not got help, if I would not have got back with Kathy, I wouldn't be here sitting here talking to you today. It really does. Here's the part of it too. Hey Sonia, the part of it is that even though it didn't matter how much of me knew deep inside of me that the abuse wasn't my fault until I got help with the right people, my shame monster was huge and powerful, and it knew when to rear its ugly head, and I had no control over it because I didn't know how to control it. I didn't know that I could control it. I didn't know that I could get rid of it. So what happened is on my road to recovery, the more I started exposing these things and talking with my mentors, with my therapist, that as I started exposing those secrets and lies to the light of the spirit, that monster, that shame slowly started dissipating. Because when I started exposing it, I found out that people did care. People were compassionate. People were empathetic. So the more it got exposed to the light, the farther it withdrew into the darkness that wasn't inside of me no more. Okay? Don't get me wrong. There's a little thing in our brain called the amygdala that God put in there. And things are still in there. That only if I allow them to come out will they come out. And it was after, like I say, after I worked with my mentor and therapist, that I threw that lethal blow to the shame. Like I said, I deal with it once in a while now, but it's not nearly like it was. You know, I haven't had panic attacks for a long time. I haven't had a shame attack. Negative emotions, they don't come close to the old overwhelming fear and pain of the past. I still have those negative emotions once in a while. I still struggle with self doubt once in a while. But I can usually go talk to Kathy, and it might take a couple days, but it's no longer a week or 2 weeks. And sometimes it's just like an hour or so. But I can talk to her about how I feel, and it goes away because it's not real. I ask myself those two questions: Is it true, and is it absolutely true? And that usually will diminish any negative thoughts you have in your head. So next week we're going to continue on chapter 9, Secrets and Science. We'll go into part 3 next week. Getting into some good stuff in the next couple of chapters. I look forward to the last 2 chapters, which is forgiveness and finding your authentic self. Those are going to be, we're almost there. But I appreciate you guys popping in, even if it's just for a brief moment, saying hi. I really appreciate it. Without you guys, I couldn't be doing this. I want you to remember also that my life coaching services, I've mentioned that a couple of times in the thing. Kathy and I, we work with a lot of couples, and we've seen a lot of success in those couples. We've had couples on the brink of divorce, and they're working through their issues, and they're staying married. So also, I'm a SYMBIS certified facilitator. I'm telling you, this is one of the. I don't get certified for a lot of stuff because I really check it out. But this is SYMBIS is saving your marriage before it starts. Even married couples are taking it, and the married couples that are taking it they're really seeing each other in a new light. It's not a psychological exam or questionnaire, but it shows each other where you're at in certain areas of marriage so that you can become more compatible and understand each other better in those situations that you might not be understanding them. It also will forewarn you if you're getting married so that you're not going into it blind thinking A when he's thinking B. This way you'll know that, hey, he thinks in B. Now I understand why he's thinking the way I'm thinking. It takes about a half hour to take the test. Um, and if you want to take it, just you can go to the life coach page, create changeyourlifestorynow.com. Just hit the contact form and let me know you want to do SYMBIS, and I'll reach out to you. We'll also do the addictions, abuse, naturally abuse, inner healing, and spiritual work as well, because they're all kind of tied into one. So I like to work with people on all of that. Okay, so like I say, visit our life coaching page, changeyourlifestorynow.com, and you can read more about the life coaching, some packages I have, and click on that contact link and I'll get back to you. Remember about my book, Healing the Wounded Child Within. It's on Amazon. It's on paperback, Kindle, or audiobook. If you have got my book, paperback, however you have gotten it and you have read it or reading it or whatever, I would really appreciate if you haven't done so. Go back to Amazon and just write a review on the book or on the audio, whatever you've read on that book. Okay. Remember to visit my website, courageoushealers.org, or our website, courageoushealers.org. If you like, you can make a one-time donation, or you can become a monthly contributor, which we gladly appreciate. It doesn't matter if it's $5 or $10, whatever it is, we appreciate it. We're working on building different programs, different workshops, and ultimately the 5-year plan at this point is to have a facility within 5 years. But we're doing it in baby steps. So anything that you can do would be greatly appreciated. We are a 501c3 corporation, so your taxes are your donations are all tax deductible. And if you donate $60 or more, I'll send you a signed copy of my book, Healing the Wounded Child Within, and a copy of my 30-day devotion of the wholeness. Remember, we have our workshop series for 2020. March 14th is our personal communication. June 13th is a journey to you. Secrets and Silence is on September 12th. And then the last one of the year, right before Christmas, and perfect timing, is forgiveness. So it's a great series of workshops. Like I say, the first one is on March 14th. If you click on that link I just put on the on the page here, you just click on it, or you go to courageoushealers.org, click on the workshop page, and then you can read about all the workshops. And at the very bottom is the communication workshop. There's a link on the page where you can go right to it and sign up right there. We have an early bird sign up, and we have a late regular registration. So I encourage you all. It's whether it's with your partner, whether it's with your employee, your kids, we all need communication skills. And like I said, Kathy and I have found and believe that one of the number one causes for arguments and disagreements in a relationship is just flat due to poor poor communication. People just don't know how to communicate. So it's something we like to work on with couples. So I think that's it for today, guys. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming on, being a part of this. Without all of you, I wouldn't be here. Remember, if nobody tells you they love you today, Randy does. Be blessed and have a wonderful week. Thanks, guys and girls.